Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having us. It's been really awesome to see the panel sessions at AGI House today.
Love it. So maybe you can tell us a little bit about your work from the latest Gemini release to what gets you most excited about for all the developers.
Absolutely. So I am the engineering lead for our developer relations team at Google DeepMind, which means that I get to work with all of the folks who are building our Gemini APIs, AI Studio, Gemma, tools like Antigravity, which is a new agent-first IDE. And we actually just wrapped up Google I/O, where we announced a couple of new models. So Gemini 3.5 Flash, which you can think of as kind of like an alternative to 3.1 Pro. Our Omni model, which gives you the ability to take in a whole bunch of different input modalities and output video. You can think of it as kind of like nano banana for video. And then also Antigravity 2.0 and a bundle of features in AI Studio. So you can vibe code Android apps, you can add workspace integrations, and a whole bunch more.
Love it.
Yeah.
So we will have a demo tonight. So I don't know, for you personally, what do you hope to see in today's demo? What get you excited about that?
Yeah, so we brought a couple of people from the team who are working on managed agents, which are, we've given you the ability to vibe code a web app. We've given you the ability to vibe code a mobile app. This is giving you the ability to vibe code an agent and have it run for you 24/7 on managed infrastructure. Hopefully, I'm really, really interested in seeing what people are building with managed agents and what they're automating in their lives, as well as, hopefully testing out the new AI space in New York City. And one of the nice things about AI is that it's kind of opening up the doors to anybody to be a builder, to be able to have kind of these established businesses that they can run anywhere in the world globally. So I do think that being in the Bay Area kind of gives us an advantage in the sense that we get to see a little bit closer the puck and where it's heading from a Silicon Valley perspective. But innovation is happening everywhere. And so I feel really lucky that I get to see it in India, in China, in Europe, and elsewhere.
That's amazing. That's amazing. We do have a few questions about, for example, like Gemini 3.5 Flash. We know that it's bringing a new standards to speed and compute efficiency.
Yeah.
And we're sure that many in the community are buzzing about it. So where do you think that this will have the most impact for developers? And what are the applications they should start exploring?
Yeah, we've seen that for Gemini 3.5 Flash, which again, folks should think of as an alternative to Gemini 3.1 Pro, that it's very fast, very smart. Our Flash title kind of is an indication that it is a little bit faster, a little bit more lightweight than some of the previous models. But it's also been fine-tuned and optimized specifically for agents and for tool calls. So folks have been experimenting with it in Antigravity, using it as one of the default models there. And then I was also talking with someone from the ARC Institute just recently who's using it coupled with AlphaFold for kind of agentic work in the protein folding pharmaceuticals space. So I think that that's something that I'm particularly excited about is 3.5 Flash being used for all of these agent and tools use cases. But I also I'm a huge user myself of Gemini 3.1 Flash Lite, which is especially lightweight, especially fast. And I'm hoping we get a new update for that coming up pretty soon too.
Love it, love it. Yeah. And also at the same time, I think multimodal improvement are also a big thing of the release. And there are sure to be creator developer communities who cannot wait to try out all those new generated models in their work. And so Google has already launched many interesting initiatives to encourage this. For example, like Google AI short form competition, things like that. So what are some of the results and feedback from the community so far? And how will new multimodal models open new formats?
Yeah, the Omni models that were just released are able to do natural language edits to video footage. So you can say, as an example, change the color of my hat to be a different color every second. One of my colleagues also, Alex from our Creative Labs team, he put his hand in front of his laptop and made it look like a bird was jumping into his hand out of his computer screen. So it's really kind of changing the game for things that you can do in the filmmaking perspective. I think that the early competitions that we've seen in the video understanding space were a little bit limited in that they had to use a model and then like a composition of other models to make the edits, or they had to rely on human edits. Now I'm really, really looking forward to seeing new changes in the way that videos are being shot, the ways that we're generating synthetic training data for things like robotics, and then also, you know, completely making these short films regionalized, so you can kind of have something that's framed more from the perspective of, you know, the United States, and then make it work for a similar sort of scene in India. And that includes everything from making it multilingual to changing the composition of the characters, or even some of the things that they're using for the scene. So it's really staggering to me to imagine, like, if you've got Pride and Prejudice as an example, what does that look like if you reimagine it set in Texas or in India or in Brazil, and then how would those kinds of framings open up new possibilities for filmmakers and for creatives?
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing all your insights. I do have one last question.
Yeah.
What is your long-term vision for Google's developer communities as AI become more integrated in everybody's workflow nowadays?
Yeah, I think we're about to start a competition, or kind of a series of content, specifically giving everyone the ability to create anything that they can imagine. So if you've never done software development before, if you've always wanted to, there's a space for you. You don't have to ask for permission. Like the doors and the floodgates have been opened. And I think that what we'll be seeing is that the entire concept of what we see as developers will change and evolve, but also scale out to include pretty much everybody in the world. Because if you can vibe code an agent, if you can just use natural language to create an agent, to invoke it, to automate a process, then there's no reason why anybody who can use something as simple as Google search couldn't be like building and maintaining agents themselves.
Amazing.
Yep.
Thank you so much for being here, Paige.
Absolutely. Thank you all for having us, and I can't wait to see what folks have built tonight.
Thank you so much. One last question.
Okay.
What is your hot take about AI today?
Ooh, my hot take about AI today is that, you know, historically, I've been in the software engineering space for a really long time. So I've seen the framework wars. I've seen, you know, people thinking that they shouldn't build their businesses around Python. You know, the chronic like tabs versus spaces, Vim versus Emacs. You know, what is your favorite IDE? Sublime versus all the other things versus VS Code. And my hot take is that much sooner than any of us expect, none of that will matter, because the agents and the systems themselves won't care what framework you're using, won't care what programming language, won't care what IDE. The ergonomics will be more focused on kind of making these systems understandable to humans, and also giving us the ability to visualize in something other than just like code files in a browser.
Got it.
Yeah.
So insightful. Thank you so much again for sharing.
Thank you. This was super fun.